Flatout is one of the most underrated franchises of all time, and I think it's the most underrated driving series of all time. Even though there's only a few games in it, these are some of the most overlooked and unknown games I've ever played. All completely ignored games. However, let's start with the first Flatout, released for PC and PS2 in the early 2000s. So Flatout was developed by Bugbear, a great car game company, and they're still making Wreckfest. Well, the game is no story at all, or setting, you just race. So at the beginning of the game, you choose your car, and then you can choose your activity. You can race or do challenges. Races are 3 laps, and there's a ton of courses. There's 3 championships to win, with around I think 30 races in the game. Then there's the activities, which sees you do dumbass shit like bowling in your car, or flinging a dude out your windshield, and stuff really just having your dude go out the windshield. And that's the activities. They're pretty retarded, but pretty fun. Racing in this game is somewhat realistic and arcadey. The feeling is pretty realistic, with dirt turning, and just shitty cars getting fucked up. And that's really the main thing, is your car getting fucked up. Cars get totally wrecked in this game. Totally taken the hell apart. It's pretty awesome to see most of these junkers, and there's no nice cars in the game really at all. It's all junkers, and they all just get wrecked and torn apart. You will not be going hella fast in this game. You can get some decent speed, but you won't be going that fast, and whenever you hit something or destroy something, you get boost. Boost is good. There's a ton of shit to destroy in these maps or courses, and it's just a blast to drive around and destroy stuff. You may even find a shortcut. Really, it's a fun little racing game where shit just gets fucked up, dude. And when it comes to presentation, it's pretty good. And with all this stuff going on in the races, all this crazy shit, no frame rate problems, and the game runs pretty great on modern PCs, but you have to map controllers. The cars look great, excellent junkers, and these cars aren't perfect. They will get totaled, and I like this. I like the aesthetic. Textures look decent, but nothing groundbreaking. The sound in the game is excellent, though. The cars sound great, and they handle great, and that's always good. The crashing sounds amazing in this game, and the music is pretty phenomenal. I mean, it's all underground heavy metal, and I can't get enough of that kind of music. So it's really just great for me. Other Flatout games have great music, but really even the first game is really good music. The music is just 10 out of 10 for me. Really, this game is actually a great game. Sure, it's really lacking on content and can be pretty simple in terms of racing, but I think it's a great game regardless, and I can only fault a game that was 99 cents so much. I mean, some fruit snacks I bought at work were more expensive than this game. The driving can be a little too shitty at times, though. Sometimes, the turning can just kind of just die. And the game's only 5 or 6 hours long, and there really isn't too much replayability, but it's cheap as hell. I mean, and the game's really fun, actually. And while I don't have a lot to say about the first Flatout, even though I've beat it twice now, I will say it is a fun game, and it's worth checking out if you just are looking for a fun little game. Now, Flatout was really just a sleeper hit, but it was apparently good enough for Bugbear to make a sequel. Now, Flatout 2 was released a few years later, however, we aren't going to be looking at this game. You see, Flatout 2 was remade a year later as Flatout Ultimate Carnage for some reason. Really, I never understood this, but whatever. It really does have everything from Flatout 2, plus a little more extras in the Ultimate Carnage version, and is easily the best version of Flatout 2. So here's Flatout Ultimate Carnage. Like a limousine, when I blink, 'cause I got to run. Like Flatout 1, there is no story, setting, lore, any of that crap for the game. You just want to be the best, and while there is a few characters in the game, there's no story or any of that. They're not even really characters, they're just people you're racing. Now, Flatout 2, or Ultimate Carnage, whatever, has something over the first Flatout that is massive, and that is replayability. This game has a ton of stuff. There's lots of modes and stuff to do in this game. The main mode of the game is Championship mode. The Championship mode is similar to the last game, however there are a few large differences. First of all, there's now 3 categories instead of 1 for cars. The first Flatout only had junkers, however this game has junkers, race cars, and straight up street cars. and each class of car gets faster and crazier. In the game, you earn money for winning championships in racing. You start the game with only enough money for a junker. However, once you progress through the championship mode, winning races, etc., you will have more money and you will be able to buy more cars, upgrade cars, and get even better cars. Each class of car has a decent amount of championship cups and a few little challenges like a time travel or demolition derby. Once you complete all the championships in each of the 3 classes, you unlock the final championship for each class, where you do like 8 races in a row. Speaking of races, let's talk about the main thing in the game, the racing. The racing in this game is a lot faster, less realistic, crazier, and insane than the first Flatout. To say that this game is fast or crazy is a pretty big understatement. This game is all out carnage. The game is the definition of an arcade racer, and it's crazy. The game can take a bit of time to get used to in terms of controls and handling, because it's really not like any other normal racing game. And despite what it looks like, it doesn't control like one. And it doesn't even control anything close to Flatout 1. But then again, you are doing stuff that was not in Flatout 1, and is a lot better than Flatout 1. There's 12 racers in a race, and it's just total carnage. The courses are pretty much totally destructible. There's literally just tons of shit on these courses, much more than the first game. Every course has a ton of tires, barrels, shit to break through. My god, it's just beautiful. It really is. Now, the cars in this game get even more total than the last game. The junkers, not so much. They're already pretty total. But, like, the other cars, they get totally totaled. The cars have health bars in this game, and you can actually wreck the other cars to the point where they can't even drive anymore. Now, it's not Carmageddon, like where you kill them, it's just you put the car out of commission. Now, whenever you smash cars or into objects, you get boost, just like the first game. And boost is major essential to this game. Without boost power, the races would be slower. They'd still be kind of crazy, but not hella crazy. Now, they are hella crazy. Now, combine these 3 factors into the racing, like the boosting shit, the course, the destructions, and you have maybe one of the greatest racing games I've ever played in a video game. To say this game is fun as hell would be an understatement. The courses in the game, I think, are just like truly amazing. Like, excellent on another level. These courses are just very well designed for the most part. If not, every map is very well designed, except maybe the first one. The game also has a really good job at easing you into how fast and crazy it gets for upping the ante. For instance, the beginning of the game, you're really in these slowest junkers in the forest maps. You won't be going over like 120 miles an hour, and these forest maps have very little objects to destroy. And really, it's just kind of straight up racing, and in my opinion, it's the worst map in the game. However, by the time you get to the end of the street class, which is the last class, here, there's never a time when you're under 190 miles per hour, and you're just flying through shit, and the only time you're slowing down is because how much shit you're hitting in this course. It's just total mayhem. Another thing that makes this game so crazy is the AI in this game. The AI in this game is no pushover. They are very aggressive and very serious. They hold grudges. I'm serious. They will throw the race away just to fuck you up. And the AI are seriously good at racing, almost to the point where you question the rubber banding. For a few times, it really felt like there was literally no way for me to win. And that's not good. But that was only a few times, to be fair. But, you know, to be fair, it does make the game a lot more interesting. This game can actually get really hard, and it can be really challenging, and I love that. The physics in this game are on a whole new level. I mean, like, only 1 or 2 games, I think, in existence for racing games can match this kind of physics. The racing, if you can't tell, is just amazing. Enough about that, though. What else is there to do in this game? Well, besides getting all the championships, which I might add will actually take a pretty long time in itself, there's the stunt mode again. Here you basically have to send the player through the windshield and do little mini games like bowling or getting on a dartboard, etc. Stunt mode is a bit better than last time. The controls are a lot better, but I was never really into this mode. But there is actually a lot of stunts to do. Then there is the challenge mode. Here you're given a ton of challenges to do. Some of them are simply time trials or demolition derby, and others are crazy, like really crazy, where you get unlimited boosts and have to destroy as many cars. Obviously, that's the best one. There's a good amount of these challenges, actually. Lastly, there's the multiplayer. which somehow still goes online. I mean, no, yeah, there's also local multiplayer, but the online somehow goes online. I don't even know how. I mean, Games for Windows Live was canceled. That's what this game uses, but somehow it still works. I don't know. Now, the first 2 Flatouts also had multiplayer, but they've been disabled. The presentation in this game for when it came out wasn't a total powerhouse, but there is no frame rate problems at all. Like, ridiculously, no frame rate problems, no matter how much shit is going on. Probably why the graphics aren't amazing, but they get the job done. The motion blur is pretty crazy though in this game, and the textures and environments, they don't look great, but you're going so fast that you're not really going to be looking at them. I mean, you're going to be smashing through shit. Like, the car destruction is pretty amazing. The detail is great. Like, lots of details on everything with the cars. Like, really, the graphics is just good. Not amazing, but good. The sound, though, my god, the sound. It's phenomenal. It's amazing. The sound is perfect. Perfect. The car sound effects are the best. And the music, oh, the music. All licensed, amazing music. And since I got this game like 5 years ago, I literally have still been listening to the music to this day. That's how great it is. I love it, I love it, I love it. I wish I could play it, but it's licensed. And it is absolutely perfect for the game. Really, Flatout Ultimate Carnage may be my favorite racing game, like, of all time, actually. I just love it on every level. I really can't fault the game with anything except that it doesn't go. There's nobody online anymore. It uses Games for Windows Live, maybe. But then again, for some reason, the Games for Windows Live actually works perfectly. So I can't even fault it at that. But this game really just, I don't have anything negative to say about it at all. This is easily one of the greatest racing games ever made, and is easily the most underrated one. In fact, it's one of the most underrated video games of all time. And it's just amazing. So after that amazing, stellar Flatout Ultimate Carnage, we didn't actually get any Flatout games for a few years, like 3 or 4 years. When all of a sudden we got Flatout 3, not by Bugbear, it was by a new studio. Yeah, and Flatout 3, well, this game came out with no fanfare and is one of the lowest rated games on Steam. I'll be blunt about this game. It's a pile of dog shit that never should have been made. This game sucks so much ass, I'm not even going to really include it in this series review. Like, the graphics are just atrocious. The blur is retarded, the modes in this game suck, the driving, my god, what did you do to the fucking driving? The physics are god-awful, the music is pretty much non-existent. Why does this game exist? It's a pile of shit, and nobody should play this game. This was the last Flatout game released until apparently Flatout 4 is coming out in 2016, but we'll just have to wait and see. Bugbear went on to instead make Ridge Racer Unbounded, which is a decent racing game, but I'll probably never review that one. I mean, it doesn't really work at all anymore, I mean, since the online went down. And it's a fun little racing game, but it's not Flatout. But it is better than Flatout 3. In fact, almost every racing game is better than stupid Flatout 3. I mean, now Flatout, it may have only had technically 4 games, but I think that the first Flatout 1, 2, and Ultimate Carnage are some of the best and most underrated racing games of all time. And really, if racing does not get better than this, I mean, they are all mega cheap. You can't even buy them anymore without getting Flatout 3, unfortunately, but I wholeheartedly recommend the first 3 Flatout games, and it's really a series that I feel has been completely ignored and is just so much fun. So with that said, I hope you guys enjoyed this small series review of Flatout. See you guys on my next review. Have a good one!